Stop scrolling through boring crochet patterns that look like your grandma made them in the 80s. I'm about to show you handmade crochet pieces so stunning that people will literally stop you on the street to ask where you bought them. And the baby items, they're so adorable you might just start crying. Look, I get it. You've seen crochet before. Maybe you think it's just blankets and scarves, but what I'm showing you today is going to completely change how you see this craft. We're talking about pieces that look like they came straight out of a luxury boutique, but you can actually make them yourself at home. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to want to grab your hook and yarn immediately. Here's the thing that nobody talks about. Most crochet patterns out there are either super basic and boring, or they're so complicated that you need a PhD just to understand the instructions. You want to make something beautiful, something that actually looks professional and modern, but you don't know where to start. And when it comes to baby items, you want something that's not only cute, but also safe, soft, and practical. The problem is finding designs that check all these boxes without making you want to pull your hair out in frustration. Let me walk you through some of the most incredible crochet pieces that are actually achievable, even if you're not a crochet master. First up, we need to talk about texture. This is what separates amateur crochet from professional-looking work. Instead of just doing the same stitch over and over, you want to play with different stitch combinations. The bobble stitch, the popcorn stitch, the puff stitch, these create dimensions that make your work pop. Literally. Think about a market tote bag. Now, I know what you're thinking. A tote bag sounds boring, but imagine this. A structured bag using the moss stitch with a beautiful contrasting color for the handles. You add some wooden buttons as decoration on the side. Suddenly, this isn't just a bag your mom would use for groceries. This is something people see on Instagram and immediately want to know where it's from. The moss stitch gives it that expensive woven texture that looks insanely complex, but is actually just single crochet and chain stitches alternating. That's it. Now let's talk about wearables, because this is where things get really exciting. Cardigans are having a massive moment right now, but not your typical chunky, oversized cardigan. I'm talking about fitted, cropped cardigans with beautiful stitch patterns. The granny square cardigan trend took over social media for a reason. Each square can be a different color, or you can do a gradient effect. The squares connect to create this vintage yet modern look that works with literally any outfit. You can dress it up, dress it down, and people will ask you about it every single time you wear it. Crop tops are another game changer. A simple halter top using the shell stitch takes maybe 6 hours to make, and it looks like something you'd pay serious money for at a beach boutique. The shell stitch creates these beautiful fan shapes that have movement and flow. You can adjust the length, play with colors, add ties or buttons. The possibilities are endless, and the compliments you'll get are guaranteed. But here's where things get really interesting. Home decor items. A chunky crochet poof ottoman can completely transform a room. Using super bulky yarn and working in the round, you create this cozy, textured piece that looks like it cost hundreds of dollars. You can stuff it with old clothes or blankets you don't use anymore, which makes it eco-friendly too. Place it in a reading nook, use it as extra seating, or just as a statement piece in your living room. The texture alone makes the entire room feel more intentional and designed. Wall hangings are another beautiful option that people absolutely love. Using different yarn weights, colors, and incorporating elements like wooden dowels or driftwood, you can create artwork for your walls. Macrame gets all the attention, but crochet wall hangings have this softer, more intricate look. You can make them as simple or as complex as you want. A basic circle worked in rounds with different colored yarn creates a mandala effect that's honestly mesmerizing to look at. Now let's dive deep into baby crochet items, because this is where your heart is going to melt. Baby cardigans in pastel colors using the softest yarn you can find. We're talking about yarn specifically made for baby skin that are hypoallergenic and gentle. A simple pattern with wooden buttons creates something so precious that it becomes an heirloom piece. Parents keep these items forever. They take photos of their babies wearing them and then save them for future grandchildren. You're not just making a cardigan, you're creating a memory. Baby blankets are the obvious choice, but the way you approach them makes all the difference. Instead of a basic granny square blanket, consider a chevron pattern with soft color transitions. Imagine white fading into the palest blue, then into a soft gray. The ripple effect of the chevron creates visual interest, and the color gradient makes it look custom and high-end. You can add a simple border and a contrasting color to frame the whole piece. These blankets become the backdrop for hundreds of baby photos, and parents treasure them. Stuffed animals and toys are where you can really let your creativity shine. A simple bunny pattern using the amigurumi technique creates a toy that's safer than most store-bought options because you control exactly what goes into it. No small parts that can come off, no harsh chemicals or dyes. You can customize colors, add little details like embroidered eyes or a stitched nose. Make it in a baby's nursery colors so it coordinates with their room. Parents go crazy for handmade toys because they feel personal and made with love. Booties and baby shoes are smaller projects that make perfect gifts. Little Mary Jane-style shoes with a button strap, or simple booties that look like sneakers or boots. These tiny items take just a couple of hours to make, but the cuteness factor is off the charts. And here's the practical part. They actually stay on baby's feet better than a lot of store-bought options because you can customize the fit. Headbands and hats for babies are another winner. A simple beanie with a top knot or a headband with a flower or bow attached. You can make these in every color imaginable. The best part is they work up so quickly that you can make a whole collection. Different colors for different outfits, seasonal options, special occasion pieces. A cream-colored bonnet with a delicate lace pattern for newborn photos becomes a keepsake that families hold on to forever. Changing pad covers might not sound exciting, but hear me out. A handmade cover in beautiful colors that coordinate with the nursery makes even diaper changes feel more special. You can make them with elastic edges so they fit snugly, and they're machine washable, which is obviously essential. It's one of those items that parents didn't know they wanted until they see it. Milestone blankets are huge right now. These are blankets with a design that allows parents to take monthly photos of their babies showing their growth. You can incorporate numbers into the design or create a simple background that parents can add wooden number props to. These blankets become the backdrop for a year's worth of photos documenting baby's first year, and parents absolutely treasure them. Baby mobiles are another beautiful option. Instead of the plastic ones from the store, imagine a handmade mobile with crocheted clouds, stars, moons, or animals hanging from a wooden hoop. The soft texture and gentle movement create a calming effect, and the handmade quality makes the nursery feel thoughtful and intentional. Nursing pillow covers are practical gifts that new moms really appreciate. The covers that come with nursing pillows are usually boring and plain. A handmade cover in beautiful colors or patterns makes feeding time feel a little more special. Plus, they're removable and washable, which any parent will tell you is absolutely necessary. Let me share some tips that will take all of these projects to the next level. First, yarn choice is everything. For wearables and items that need to drape, go for yarns with some drape and flow. Cotton blends work great. For structured items, like bags, you want something stiffer. For baby items, always choose yarn labeled as baby safe, which means it's been tested for harmful substances and is extra soft. The quality of your yarn directly affects the quality of your finished piece. Color selection can make or break a project. Instead of using bright primary colors for everything, consider muted tones, earthy colors, or pastels. These feel more modern and sophisticated. If you do want to use bright colors, pair them with neutrals to balance them out. A bright coral paired with cream looks expensive. That same coral by itself might look cheap. Blocking your finished pieces is the secret that professionals know. This means wetting your finished item and pinning it into shape as it dries. It evens out your stitches, makes everything look neater, and can even change the drape and texture of your work. The difference between blocked and unblocked work is honestly night and day. Pay attention to your tension. If your stitches are too tight, your fabric will be stiff and small. Too loose, and it'll be floppy and full of holes. Consistent tension throughout your project creates a professional finish. If you're someone whose tension changes as you work, take breaks and check your gauge regularly. Weaving in ends properly is what separates amateur work from professional. Don't just tie knots and cut the yarn. Weave the ends through several stitches in different directions so they're secure and invisible. Take the extra few minutes to do this right, and your finished pieces will last years longer. Here's the truth that nobody tells you about crochet. The items you make aren't just crafts. They're art pieces. They're gifts that people keep forever. They're the cardigans someone wears until it falls apart because it's their favorite thing they own. They're the baby blanket that gets passed down through generations. When you put your time and care into creating something beautiful, you're making something that matters. That market tote you make might be someone's everyday bag for the next 10 years. That baby blanket might comfort a child through tough nights and eventually get saved in a memory box. The power of handmade items is that they carry intention and love in every stitch. So whether you want to make